Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 0th episode ever of the Lost Context podcast. This is not the first episode. This is just kind of a test run, trying to get everything working and get everybody synchronized. Brody didn't get his computer set up for this, so he hasn't recorded himself, but he sounds pretty good through Discord. Chris Riley eventually started recording himself, but it wasn't until like halfway into the episode. And eventually Wesley joins us, and he did record himself, but then he had an issue saving the file and he lost it. So he wasn't able to join us until a ways into the episode, so you'll have to wait for him. We also didn't do any introductions, so just to kind of give you an idea of who's who, this, of course, is me, Brian Bridges. This is Brody Rainey.
Yeah, he's probably the most infamous president of all time in American history.
This is Chris Riley.
What I really like about Blake is like he's a unifier when he's around.
And this is Wesley Sullivan.
I'm dead serious. Yeah, I love San Francisco. And if I could meet him for dinner, I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
And now we drop you right into the middle of our conversation on the 0th episode ever of the Lost Context podcast. I've never played a Dark Souls game.
All right, we talking.
Yeah. So how about that Super Mario Brothers?
Mario Brothers. I've been going crazy. Just I was looking at those lightsabers, man. Those freaking super nice dueling sabers that have customizable color changing and sound effects. Oh, it's I wish I had that.
You talking about real
yeah,
physical
those things
products?
are so awesome.
It's just too much money for me to feel good about it, you know? It's just for a freaking basically a toy.
Yeah.
Very high quality practical toy, because there is there's an entire subculture of dueling, and there's people that just do choreographed fights, then there's people that just goof around and cosplay, and then there's people that get two of them and do a bunch of flow art stuff to EDM. They're probably on drugs when they do it.
Definitely. Well, you're better off doing that and getting one of those, because for that price range, you get pretty close to the best as you're gonna get as far as the lightsabers and stuff. Where if you got into real swords, that's just getting into the tip of the iceberg, and you can't even use those on in their intended purpose.
That's true.
You'd just be murdering people.
The lightsaber thing would be fun. There'd be enjoyment. It wouldn't just be a wall piece, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you've already got the drugs, so you're halfway there.
Yeah, dude, the drugs, man. Something about going on the Vegas trip just ignited this feeling of bravery and I don't know if we call it bravery, maybe just stupid shit. I just wanted to do it all, so. And I had tripped on acid before. It was about maybe 2 years ago, actually, with my old roommate, and my brother was there to kind of just, trip sit, hang out with us, whatever. But this time he actually got to do it with us, and we had an adventure.
I got back into Breaking Bad, as you know, so I'm just picturing you in this world of gangbangers down in Texas.
It's not what you'd think, actually. It's kind of among just there's a skater kind of crowd down here that is tight with the gangster guys, if you will. I don't know. It's just kind of how San Marcos is. There's a lot of skater thug stuff, and they're the ones that have all the drugs. They just show up to this is a college town, and so there's lots of fraternities, sororities, basic bitch stuff going on, and these guys will just show up to a frat party with a bunch of cocaine and make $10,000. Not me though.
It's been a while for me.
No, I've never done coke.
Oh shit! God damn. I've done plenty of it for all of us then. Yeah, it's not something you want to get into. It doesn't even really do, I don't know, some people really like it, and I just kind of liked it, but I was with people that really, really liked it, so I was able to always get into it for basically free, and it just it's never really my thing. But I sure did do a lot of it.
Yeah,
If that makes any sense.
we've all done things that we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah, weed was always my drug of choice, and I haven't even done that in probably like 8 years now.
It's the most. It just makes the most sense out
Yeah,
of all the drugs. Like it's probably the least dangerous in terms of how much it actually impairs you.
Yeah.
If you look at how just getting like a halfway to shit face, you're pretty fucking impaired. Like your judgment and your balance and everything. I mean, there's no other drug that makes you fucked up like alcohol,
hmm
except maybe heroin, other shit.
yeah, crocodile.
Yeah, dude. Is that even in America anymore? Like, I haven't heard about it.
I don't know. I've never even seen it. I just like always see like the stories online of like and I'm sure half of it is just like kind of fear mongering and all that kind of stuff. Like there's one dude that like took like probably a whole like shipment worth of it all at once, and then like freaking
Lost his leg.
his arm falls off or something like that. Yeah, exactly.
I remember when it came out, people were posting like, "Oh, Miley Cyrus tried this and lost her leg."
Well, it must have grew back.
Right?
Less like a
She's
crocodile and more
She's
like
gone off the deep end, hasn't she?
Everybody's gone off the deep end, man. I think half of freaking Hollywood is insane,
Yeah.
half of the
It's
nation
like,
is
what?
insane.
and they probably are. I mean, who would be an actor professionally? Like, who has that capability? Just really
Yeah.
smart people or really crazy people?
Especially
both.
when you get things like the fappening and stuff happen to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's got to
it's
mess
like
you up.
They're already,
Well, there's some there's some that would do nude seeds all the time, and they're just like, whatever, fuck it. But there's some that are like, there were actually pretty personal things that got let out of the bag.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Just being in the public eye under public judgment all the time would drive anybody insane.
Yeah. Especially today when everybody's scrutinizing everything.
I know, man. Nobody can freaking get a life.
The other crazy shit about that is that like people that were like close to those people were involved in it too, because it's like they went after like Kate Upton and got her photos, but because of that they also got the pitcher for the Detroit Tigers is weighing everywhere now. Justin
I wouldn't give
Verlander.
a fuck. If somebody found pictures of me naked with Kate Upton, I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, I was
Yeah.
there.
I was
None of
gonna
that
post
shit.
those anyway.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I fucked her."
Um,
What's that tweet someone shared of John McAfee? He's like, "Well, I don't understand why everyone's so upset that I paid a hooker with bitcoins. I've bought coke." He just like named off all these things he bought with Bitcoin. You mad, bro? Like,
I love that dude. Like seriously.
yeah, man. Savage. Just dropping bombs.
It's been too long since we've had a president that's actually killed a man.
Yeah, dude. Trump, he's like, here's what he is. He's like horrible and amazing at the same time, just because
Mhm.
the fact that he's even there is just crazy.
yeah.
It's like we're living a real life cartoon. And it's kind of like, yeah, this is probably what we deserve,
Absolutely.
This is our payment. This is our payment for not figuring it out the easy way a while back,
So do you think that he is actually legitimately like a chess master, or do you think he's just a lucky bumbling fool?
Dude, that's
I think
the
it's
genius
kinda-
of Trump.
Depends
I
on the
think-
situation. On some things, he probably is playing the chess, and then the other times he's just either like incredibly unlucky or lucky, depending on how it ends up working out for him. But like, yeah, it is just like there's no way to really know what's going on. Like, and there's no amount of books that'll be written afterwards that'll really be able to put into
It's
perspective
probably-
exactly what's going down.
Yeah, he's probably the most infamous president of all time in American history. by the time he gets out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say a lot of that's because of social media. But so, did you watch Scott Adams talk to Dave Rubin about him?
I haven't really been watching a lot of political stuff on YouTube lately. I kind of got drowned out recently, so I haven't really seen a lot of the Dave Rubin stuff.
Same here, but yeah, Scott Adams talks about a lot of kind of the way that Trump supposedly is really brilliant and kind of strategizes everything. It's pretty fascinating to watch, even if you don't buy into it. It's interesting to hear.
I think he's a really good manipulator. I think he
Yes.
knows how to. I think he just knows exactly what to say, and because he pisses off like the people he intends to piss off. It's very very easy to see like where he's aiming towards it. But that's where you're like, okay, is he a chess master or is he a bum idiot? That's kind of the genius of it all. It's like you really don't know.
That's what a lot of the stuff that Scott Adams covered was that topic, and I don't really know how I feel about it, but definitely interesting. Some of his thoughts.
I think if anything, like at the end of the day, like nothing he's done has really like affected my life, and I don't know if it will, but I think this kind of just should point everybody towards we don't really need to put so much like power and all this emphasis on one person in the kind of society we want to have. I think
Yeah, absolutely.
that's probably the silver lining in all of this is like maybe Trump being president like convinces people that they should just look to their communities and local governments more than this big centralized fuckfest that we're paying for and can't afford.
Yeah. And why does one guy have the nuke button?
That's true. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
So, I don't have anything really locked in stone for each week when we do the podcast, but I have thought about a couple things. It would be kind of fun if I think cameo and guest appearances and stuff would be great. If anybody wants to come in on their phone, that'd be awesome. And then like kind of group involvement somehow if they could, like Kind of Funny did suggestions for topics from people that were submitted.
Yeah.
So we could do something like that. And then maybe like a recap of the week, because the group is always changing and it's always dynamic. So maybe it might be fun to talk about some of the stuff that's happened, if there's anything significant.
That'd be good. And then just random topics that we can kind of all bring.
Yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to the Kind of Funny format.
Yeah, just don't follow it like exactly like that one guy did. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Who was it?
It was like the first actual like fan guest they had.
Oh.
His name was something Menchaca, but like he ended up making a channel and like copying the exact like almost verbatim like the introduction Greg did, and like so it was pretty lame. But
I was thinking about doing a couple intros just to parody them. Just be like, if you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the CLC Find Whatever podcast. Each and every day we come to whatever many people gather around this table. Stupid.
Just do like a spoof of Kind of Funny.
I thought about doing that for my stupid vlog thing too, and just be like, this is what we're talking about today, blah blah blah, subject to what you're talking about. I'm Brian Bridges and this is Brian Bridges show. like Ben Shapiro.
Well, that reminds me, are like you guys, since you're both musicians, are you going to be able to make like original music for like intro and outro, or are we going to scour through the public domain shit that you can find on the internet?
I'm down for either. I mean, there is some pretty good stuff out there that you can buy rights to.
Yeah, because of what I do with video, I already have. I mean, I know where to find a lot of that stuff and have a lot of experience, and I have like accounts set up to buy it. So I'm not opposed to it, but if you can, I mean, Brody would have a better like recording setup probably than I would for instruments, and he's probably more equipped to do that. Right now, like my
I could
acoustic.
come up with something. I mean, I'm more of a like guitar player, like songwriter. You know, I don't have a lot of like electronic music. I mean, I can do it. I know how to do it. I just don't have a lot of that kind of equipment.
Yeah. Well, I'm into guitars. I have a guitar. I'm like my acoustic guitar is. I can't even plug it in. It's purest acoustic. So that's why I'm kind of.
I mean, if I make the intro, we're gonna have a metal intro.
I'm down with that.
I was like cruising through this one like website with a bunch of public domain shit earlier. I found this really dope marching band song. I put a link to it in the
Marching band
in the Facebook chat or something. Yeah, it's a fucking marching band song called like Golden Finger or something like that. It's dope as hell.
Man, that's the driving your truck, jamming out to public domain marching band music.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I can see it, dog. Dun, dun, dun,
Dude,
dun, dun.
I'm telling you, I'm probably one of the weirdest people that exists on Earth. Like,
No,
the
dude,
kind of shit
just
that
wait.
happens.
Wait till like episode 69, and you'll find out all the weird shit. So, okay, if the name of the podcast should just be the CLC podcast, or do y'all have any other ideas?
My default was I was just gonna fall back on the Lost Context podcast, but I'm
Yeah,
not
I like
opposed
that.
to idea. I mean, if you guys have anything
Yeah.
brilliant, sure.
CLC is gonna always be an inside.
I tried to get rid of it. It's not going away.
Yeah.
Well, because that's what everybody knows it as. That's what CLC is, the group, but like the podcast will become something else. You know, that's the Lost Context or whatever.
Yeah.
But the Lost Context has origins in CLC, which has origins in CLS, which has origins Kind of Funny, which has origins in IG. So there you go. That's the trail. That's the rabbit trail that we all followed here.
There we go. The Lost Context podcast is essentially IGN. That's how we'll brand it. We'll get lots of subscribers.
Damn, guys. Well, my brother told me he might be moving to Houston in a month. So that's pretty sad. That's
What does
like
that
3
mean for
hours
you?
away.
You just won't see him as much?
Well, he lives with me. He's lived with me for like... I mean, we've lived with each other our whole lives, but then I moved away for 1 year, and then he moved in with me.
I see.
Like 4 years ago. So,
I
I don't
see.
know. We're pretty close. He's like 2 years younger than me, but... he got a job offer.
Gotcha.
He just graduated.
Oh, shoot. I didn't think about this. So every time I play anything on my computer or any sounds pop up, it's going to record it. I guess I could mute them, but then that mutes you guys too.
Yeah.
Are you recording this call right now?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. We'll just have like a episode 0,
Yeah.
you know?
-1.
Yeah, that's if we have to have another do-over like this. But for now, it's 0.
I don't know where Blake is. He's not. Maybe he's sleeping or something.
He's probably just like tired and like, man, I don't know if I can do this right now.
Yeah. He's.
We need to,
Yeah. He's
encourage
playing
him.
World War II, I'm sure. Or some shit.
That game's so good, guys. I haven't ever gotten into a Call of Duty game as much as this new one. I think it's finally just kind of speaking my language as far as I just wasn't a fan of all the double jumping and super futuristic stuff that they started doing.
Yeah.
Kind of all fell downhill for me after Ghosts.
Yeah.
I haven't played any of the last first-person shooter I played, not including like Borderlands, was fucking Black on PS2.
Black.
Black.
That game was great.
That was a good fucking game, but yeah, like, you know, after that I just like kind of got out of FPSs and just never really got back into them. And then now there's like so many of them that are like the modern best that they could be kind of shit. I'm like, well, I don't know which one to get now.
Have you played BioShock, just the first one?
I haven't played any of BioShock. So.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that'd be a really good place to start. Because it would still, I mean, it's not like a shoot 'em up kind of shooter. It's more of a adventure game, survival game.
My Xbox died about a quarter of the way through my first time of BioShock, and it hurt my heart. So that's as far as I've got.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Well, I'm making progress on my room, fellas.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, damn. The big thing is, like, I got home from Vegas and I've been so lazy. And my suitcase was just still sitting there with all the clothes in it. And then other stuff started piling up on it. It's just bad. I'm embarrassed to even be in this room. This is horrible. We should do
It's
like
the inside of my truck all the time.
It'd be funny if we found a way to do a video version of this eventually.
Yeah, I was thinking about, I was going to ask people if they could record themselves, if they had the means, just kind
I
of
have
separately.
a webcam. I can do it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I could probably just set up my DSLR and do mine, and then I could splice it all together so that it cuts to whoever's talking.
Yeah, I can give you a video file that, I'll set up my snowball when I find it after cleaning this room. And then that's what I'll run the audio through, and I'll just send you that video, and you can do whatever you want.
Cool. You and Chris and Wesley all got snowballs.
Well, it's probably just is a good, cheap option to start recording yourself on the fucking computer. You don't need to spend $200 right out the gate.
Yeah, Wesley was asking me, and I read the reviews, and I was like, this looks pretty solid, and it had good review or like good YouTube reviews and stuff. So I was impressed.
Yeah, what was funny is like I actually had mine before I even knew it, because my wife she does like tarot readings and shit like that, and she was going to like do it online for a while, and then just never got to the online part. And so we just had this microphone sitting in a box for a while, and when I told her that I was gonna try to podcast with you guys, and that I would need a microphone, she was like, oh, well, why don't you just use mine, since I don't even frickin' use it.
So I just got a message from Wesley. He says he's setting up his mic. He's unexpectedly at home right now, so he's going to try and get on.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, shit. Well, I'm excited.
Yeah, maybe we'll just have a podcast. You guys have any topics?
Getting this.
I think it should just be figuring out what Mormonism is.
Let's talk about Mormon underwear.
Yeah.
Seriously, what is it, man?
I don't know.
The temple garments.
Well, those aren't just jokes. He's actually a Mormon.
No, that's for real.
I mean, I don't know if he's all the way into the magic underwear level of Mormonism or anything, but well, I'm sure we'll find out. I'm sure that's going to come up. That'll probably be the first question I ask him, actually.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Man.
It's on all of our minds now. So, Wesley, we want to talk honeymoon and Mormon underwear.
Yep.
He's serious, by the way.
So let's see, get sewn into a sack together wearing her Mormon underwear.
He's serious, by the way, about honeymooning in San Francisco and meeting up with Tony and his wife.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
Dude, yeah, it's going to start happening eventually. Tanya's going to make round trips
Oh,
to
yeah.
everybody. That's fucked up. Please delete this part of the podcast.
Sure, yeah.
Or just
Nothing
do not
gets-
post.
This is CLC. Nothing gets deleted. Everything gets posted.
If it gets deleted, it gets posted 100 times.
That's right.
Somebody
It's
deletes
good.
a comment, the screenshot makes it to the cover page and becomes the new theme.
Oh
Or at
my
least
gosh.
just clip it out of context.
I love our group.
I think my favorite inside joke is still Avery McIntyre. I've seen breasts before.
Oh, by far, yeah.
I'm not scared of it like some 10-year-old.
I'm not scared of breast. And did y'all see my post? I was like, if you're mad about the theme today, act like you're 17 or up and have seen breasts before. And some people didn't get it, but the ones that did,
Yeah.
that's who that was for. Nah, dude. Yeah, everyone's pretty cool, man. Tony, I've smoked with him many sessions.
He hasn't been around lately. I think we scared him away.
You think so?
So Chris's theory is that he invited Blake to the black group, and now he and Blake are hanging out over there. Which makes sense.
Yeah,
'cause
make
Blake...
a post about it. Call him out and make some kind of like Photoshop thing where of like Blake, Tony, and then like a bunch of black team.
I need to get good enough with Photoshop to Photoshop Blake with blackface. And where he's just hanging out with Tony and a bunch of black people and trying not to be noticed.
And the timeline works out that I'm pretty sure that Tara just drove everybody off.
Yeah.
Oh, she's obnoxious.
This is going on the podcast, by the way.
Well, I mean, she's cool.
It's on record that Tara is
She, like,
obnoxious.
posts a lot. She's like, "Oh, I'm a feminist. Look, but I have a good sense of humor still. Look, is what it is."
Yeah.
Both true. You'd have to have a good sense of humor to be married to John.
Oh man, I just found one of those neck pillows you take on planes. I was looking for it before I left for Vegas, and now I found it when I come home. I'm pissed.
Well, that's useless.
It's the way she goes, man. It's the way of the road. I didn't want it bad enough.
Chris, you know about the way of the road.
Yeah.
Way of the road, bubs.
There's a lot of ways of the road. Most of them suck.
Do you ever get like invites from prostitutes?
You see them every once in a while. It's mainly down in the southeast.
Oh.
And like places like St. Louis is probably the worst. And but mainly all it is like, you know, they'll
Places
bang on
where
your door
it's more
shit and-
humid and the pussy smells bad.
Yeah. But yeah, you'll just get this bang on the door like 2:00 in the morning, and like you never know if it's gonna be a lot lizard or like the fucking cops or something like that for some reason. So you gotta get up. You can't just tell them to go the fuck away. And like get up, fucking roll down the window, and then it's like a lot lizard or some shit like that, or someone trying to sell you like jewelry or fucking CDs or something. Like, get the fuck out of here, please.
You ever pull into a seedy motel that's selling snuff films?
No.
Because I saw that on a movie once.
Hey man, you're watching too many of them movies.
That's true.
The boob tube.
The Bob Tob.
Gosh,
So,
man, everybody was boob tubing it up today.
It was just in protest. It was in protest of Cody's stupid crypto theme.
Oh, that's like the worst theme ever.
It's so boring.
That's why I had to make a haiku
So-
just to like have something interesting. Because
The only thing-
theme either. I was like, what the fuck? And this is what happens when I take a step back from the group for a few days.
Yeah. The only thing more boring than cryptocurrency theme is Cody's grandma curtains.
Is that? I don't understand that joke.
You don't know about his curtains?
Cody like moved into a new wait, was it moved into a new house or is like moving out of an old one?
I think that's his new one.
Oh, okay. So he moves into this new house and he posts his first picture in the new house. It's
Well, he
got
posted
these,
it.
like,
He
weird
posted
grandma
it. It was a
grapes.
it was a roast me. He said roast me, and then he started
Yeah.
getting like butthurt because people kept making fun of his curtains in the background. I was like, dude, it's a roast me. So that's the reason I keep bringing it up is because it's the only like joke I have about Cody. He hasn't given me any other material yet.
Yeah, he doesn't post as much. He doesn't open himself up to the attack like
Yeah,
everyone else does.
it's kind of a boring founding father.
Hey,
Yeah, he's like John Adams.
he's like John Adams. Yeah, if he's John Adams.
Maybe Paul Giamatti will do a movie about his life someday.
Paul Giamatti is Cody Barks in CLC, The Foundation.
I mean, it's just the most boring movie of all time. Nothing
What did y'all think
happens.
of my freaking sermon? It took me so long on that. It was so retarded.
I was inspired, man. I
I
gotta
was
say,
like really confused while reading it. Like I was just like, what is going on?
well, I grew up homeschooled, so like it spoke right to everything that I've ever been taught. Like it was right in line with marijuana is the gateway drug, and
Yep.
Oh, you were that kind of homeschooled, like, you know, because there's some cool homeschoolers too.
nope.
Dude, every homeschooler I've ever met was weird. And that totally explains everything about Brian. It just makes so much sense.
That's what I was telling Wesley. He didn't believe that you could spot a Mormon a mile away, and I compared it to homeschoolers. You can spot a homeschooler a mile away if you've been one.
Yeah. No, my parents, they didn't have money or time for homeschool.
Yeah, mine neither. I wish I was homeschooled, man. I fucking hated school.
When I look back on it, I liked it more than I actually did in the moment. Compared, you know, because when you get out of school, you're like, fuck, working sucks. Even more than school did.
That's true. Part of that's because first jobs always suck.
I had some pretty dope
Yeah.
jobs though. Like
What was y'all's first job?
my first job was like what do you call it? The person at a skating rink that puts all the bad kids in timeout. The rink guard or whatever. Yeah.
You're the ringmaster.
Yeah, exactly. I would
Rink
just like be
master.
throwing these kids in timeout and shit, or calling their parents. Like, it was awesome. You had so much power in that job.
You're the first rink master I've ever met.
Oh, dude. And then after that, I worked at Advanced Auto Parts for freaking years, and like
love it.
that place was such a fucking shit show, and like it was just like some sort of sitcom you'd see on TV, except that it was like shit that wouldn't work on network. It was like straight up HBO shit. Like, yeah. So much drugs were done in that fucking store.
Hiding
My
in plain sight. Currency of tomorrow. Like breasts in public.
Oh,
I like yours. What
You gotta
was it?
pronounce it right. Breasts.
Oh, dude,
Just
it's
one
not two
syllable.
syllables. Is that really how that shit works? I've never known that.
I mean, you can
That's-
technically stretch it out into 3 syllables if you really hit that T.
Fistus.
Breasts.
Breastus.
Breasts.
breast eye.
That always reminds me. Y'all seen that movie Norbit with Eddie Murphy? It's horrible. But there's a part where he's sitting at the table as a kid, and Terry Crews hands him a part of the chicken. He's like, "For you, breastus." Just every time somebody says breast, it reminds me of that movie.
That's why boobs is such a good word, but it's also a funny word, so it's doubly good.
Yeah, I love how Bob's and Vagine have become memes. And now it's making me racist because I'll see an Indian guy out in public and I'll just start thinking of Bob's and Vegeta. I'm like, I'm a fucking racist. Oh, it's too much. It's too much, dude.
It never doesn't make me laugh.
Remove
That's
cloth.
why I actually can't say faggot anymore because that is probably the funnest word to say in the English
Oh,
language.
I say it to my roommates. That's like an in-house word. You can't say it outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few racial terms. Like, I actually don't think nigger's that funny. It doesn't have that funny sound quality to it. But like Eskimo is funny, and I think that chink is kind of funny. If you
I
say
think
something's
chink is
chinky. Yeah.
Chink is not as funny as Chinaman. Like Norm Macdonald has this whole bit about how it's like the easiest like racial slur to come to, and all it does is describe a person. Where the only time it becomes racist is if the person's not from China.
Or if they're from China and working on the railroad. Yeah, I've seen freaking Shanghai Noon. I know about that shit.
Yeah. The coolies, man.
Those are pretty good. The Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Nights. Owen Wilson, Jackie Chan, pretty good combo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
One of the last pretty good Chan movies.
Yeah, because what else he put out? The Tuxedo and
Ugh.
some other shit. What he put something out
Medallion.
recently, though. Or he's put
Yeah, he is in what is it, like the tourist or the foreigner? The foreigner, I think.
The Fauna.
Yeah. And then like he did like this one super dope movie in Hong Kong. Is like he was like a Chinese mainland immigrant and snuck into Hong Kong and then had to like work his way up through the like Hong Kong mafia or whatever, and ends up becoming like it was almost like The Godfather but in Hong Kong. And that movie was fucking awesome.
Is that the one where he slides down that long pole in the mall? And he actually like almost died while filming it.
I don't remember a part like that. This one was a really serious movie. It wasn't like any other thing I've seen him in. Like there were parts in this that like made you tear up and shit.
The recent one he put out where his daughter gets kidnapped or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I heard that was pretty good.
So what's better, Rush Hour or Shanghai Noon?
Man, I haven't seen either one in a long time.
Mm.
I'm going Rush Hour.
Yeah, Chris Tucker kills it.
Yeah, dude.
He honestly carries that movie.
Especially the first one is just so good.
Yeah. Just Jackie Chan, he's like all business, and Chris Tucker's like, oh yeah. He's just like,
It's a classic comedic duo with a straight man and a clown.
Yeah.
Wesley's trying to get on. He's thinking about getting on his phone and then recording to his computer, but he was trying to download the software on his computer and it was just taking forever. So I think he's
well,
gonna
we're
just
just
jump on his
doing a
phone.
trial.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Should I at this point be recording with my microphone? Like I was waiting for possibly Blake or anybody to come on, but
If you can, it'd be good because right now you're pretty echoey. Probably
Oh, okay.
Brody's fault.
Yeah, guys, I'm fucking all this up. That's what I do.
I don't know. I can't tell what I sound like because I'm not ringing back in my own ears, but I know that Brody sounds.
You sound
good.
the best.
Oh, okay. Because you're coming in clear. It's just Chris that's kind of echoey.
Ah.
So I would assume if it was on your end, I would be echoey too, right?
Well, see, I don't really have the actual phone turned up loud, like what's coming through the speaker, so that's probably why it's not too echoey.
Oh. Well, regardless, if Chris was recording, then I could just use his mic instead of this weird echoey sound.
For sure.
all right. right, I'm recording now.
Cool.
Bob's
Everyone.
Vagine. Remove Bob.
Yeah, this will probably just be me laughing a whole bunch when you get this track in to try to sync up. Quiet laughter.
So, what do you do on the road to cope? Like, how do you keep yourself sane? Do you ever do like just stupid things in your truck? Like, I remember. So you said you did one where you were meowing to
I was going to bring that up. Yeah, that happens more than I'd like to admit. Shit like that.
Oh man.
And I'll like get into these like, weird kind of just phases of just like turning all the, stuff off, no podcasts, no music or anything. And I'll just start spouting gibberish and like trying to like remember songs that I heard when I was like 10 and try to remember all the lyrics and butcher them up and shit. Like it's almost like driving around, but being in that like first like 10 minutes of the 40-year-old virgin where he's just like trying to occupy his time. He's like, playing the trumpet and shit. Like,
Golly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine that like at a certain point, music and podcasts just get old, and you just need to turn it off altogether.
Yeah. Definitely politics did that, man, because I just was so into it for such a long time, and then just, I don't know, it just got to be where, like, every fucking story was the same every week, just with, like, the different, like, sort of adjectives and times changed, and I was just like, I'm done with this.
It's just all noise. It's just background noise.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what's really happening.
Yeah, there's only so much that Trump can do to get the world talking.
Yeah.
It's kind of like CLC, really. We have our lulls and then we have our crazy days, but generally the majority of the time it's just, meme here, meme there. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
There's been a few more normie people. I feel kind of like a nerd ass for saying that word, but
yeah.
I kind of like it though because it works so well sometimes. Like, when shit gets like too dank for too long, then like some stupid fucking normie thing from like 4 years ago will be put on there, usually by me, and like I may be the only one laughing at it, but I will be fucking tripping my ass off laughing at it so hard.
yeah.
So when you're in your truck, how long is a drive before you get to take a break?
Well, there's like a regulation to where like you can't drive for longer than 8 hours, like in one stint, without taking a 30-minute break. So there's your first like little kind of limit, and then like for each 24-hour period, you can drive for 11 hours, and then like also for each 24-hour period, you have this like 14-hour on-duty clock. So like when you first like get up and have to do your like pre-trip check on the truck, then you start that 14-hour clock, and that just runs constant no matter like if you're stopped or whatever. And the only thing that'll reset those clocks is doing your 10-hour break for the night.
Huh. Does your truck belong to a company?
Yep.
Do you always?
Yeah, I'm not stupid enough to buy my own truck.
I know, I've known people that have done that.
It's retarded. It is like one of the, I don't know, like unless you are going to just like commit to going in massive debt and constantly buying new trucks and hiring other drivers to fill those trucks, like every time you get a new line of credit, then you really just can't like just own your own truck and make a real living, because you're just gonna like put yourself into bankruptcy with all the repairs and shit over time.
Oh. What kind of stuff do you deliver?
Well, I work for a hay farm, so for about half the year, like, we'll transport hay to places in like the south or like sometimes out west and everything. And then like there's like certain
It's like-
factories and
It's like the lamest thing you could do as a trucker.
no, it sounds like it, but man, like I would much rather do that than like have to haul like fucking explosives or like some chemicals to where you have to fucking stop at every single way station and fill out some paperwork and everything, telling them that you're going through their state with some fucking dangerous shit. And but yeah, like having a steady haul that you don't have to worry about or think about is like the best. You wish for that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
You don't want to be driving with a hot load, you know?
no. And then like the other stuff is just general freight that we'll just like pick up, you know, and stuff. Like sometimes I'll haul beer, sometimes I'll haul like right now I got these conveyor systems that are going to like you know, Amazon and FedEx and shit like that.
Oh.
Can y'all hear me?
We can.
This is Wes.
What's up, dog? This is
Howdy.
Hey, how are you guys?
good.
We're doing great.
I need to get this Audacity working. I have it downloaded, but I've never used it before, to be honest.
Your voice is everything I've dreamt of.
Very different than my deep voice, that's for sure.
Yes.
Tony, what the hell do you know about Ebonics?
What are
That's
y'all
I heard.
crackers talking about?
That's pretty big change.
Yeah, it really is.
I haven't heard
Yeah,
that before.
puberty kind of failed on me.
I actually
Well,
thought you were trolling us for a second. Is that your real voice?
No, this is my voice. Swear to God.
You could have totally just messed with my head right now.
That's funny.
It's fucked up,
So-
Brian. You think his voice is a joke?
Well, I thought
I mean-
that Oliver's voice was a joke too.
Really?
What does he sound?
I still haven't heard his voice. He always like says like, "Oh, here's my voice," and then puts a clip of like Margaret Thatcher talking or some bullshit English crap.
So Wesley, you're not recording yourself yet?
Not yet. Just a moment. I have Audacity open, and do I just hit the record the red dot? Is that it?
Well, if it works, you'll see the waves happening as it records when you're talking.
Okay,
if that
I
makes sense.
appear to be recording now. Sorry to mess things up.
And it's not
The waveform?
producing waveform when we're talking, right? Just you.
Yes, just me.
Perfect.
So, yep. I thought I'd be at the hospital this evening, so that's why I told Brian I couldn't make it. But last minute, I got home. So,
What's well, I don't know what to say other than I hope everybody's okay.
thank you.
Same here.
I appreciate that.
You don't got any topics for us tonight, do you?
I hadn't thought of one. What are your guys'
Well,
topics?
let me ask you something real quick. Do you wear the temple garment underwear? This is the stuff we have to know right off the bat.
Not yet. I'll be getting married this summer, and then I will be.
Oh, okay. So you have to be married to get to that level.
No, I didn't go on a mission. That's typically when men start wearing it. But since I didn't go, I'll start wearing it as soon as I get married.
No, that's cool.
Is it like comfy or what's it made of?
They have like a more silky kind, and then they have cotton as well. I'm just used to seeing what my dad has, and the shirts
You've
look
seen your
just like
dad
a
have
Hanes t-shirt. I've seen his top, and in laundry, I mean, I've seen
No bottoms on
Yeah.
the dad there?
no, thankfully.
Oh, that's good.
So, how much does it cost?
The underwear?
Yeah.
I don't think it's very expensive. Probably like $5 a pair. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's not bad.
So
That's
they have
cheaper
like
than normal underwear.
Nike or something like that making them or anything.
19 Mormon edition.
Yeah, that would be pretty dope.
Every time you're scared to go knock on a door, you just think to yourself, just do it.
Just. Oh, funny.
So why don't you care about people's souls?
I don't care about people's souls.
You didn't go on a mission.
Well, I would say I'm down with the cause, but I don't like being very preachy. And I've seen a lot of people I know go on missions, and it's changed them for the worse, I believe.
Interesting.
They've just got so used to speaking from that place of, I guess, preaching, like you're saying, and maybe that's just how they became,
Yes.
Patterns.
The thing that's always fascinated me about it is that it's similar to the military in that you don't know where they're going to send you, right?
Right. You get a letter shortly before you leave, and it could be anywhere.
Like literally any country.
Except the Middle East. They usually don't send people there for obvious reasons, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Could you be sent to a dangerous place?
Not anymore, I don't think. I think they've kind of changed that, so they only go to safe places now. So.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, when you're an easy target, easy to spot, like in certain places, you just can't really be safe.
Yeah.
Right, and some places, the concept of preaching, proselytizing is just totally taboo. So.
Oh. I told them that you're serious about going to San Francisco and meeting up with Tony.
I'm dead serious. Yeah, I love San Francisco, and if I could meet him for dinner, I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Why were you there before?
It was for a college honors class. It was all about the counterculture movement, the 50s and 60s, and at the end of the class, the university paid our airfare, and we went out for about a week. So,
Oh.
That's crazy.
yeah, it was fun.
I'm all for people paying me to travel.
Yeah. Well, people pay me to travel all the time.
Yeah, but your job sucks.
It's pretty much all I ever do.
That's my life. So, Chris, what's your favorite truck stop?
Oh shit! There's this one in Iowa, off of I-80 in Avoca, and the reason is the Pilot Flying J, whatever they call it there, but it's got a Taco John's restaurant in it, which is the only truck stop I've ever seen with the Taco John's. And if you guys have never been there, they have this thing called the Super Potato Olé, which is the best freaking garbage food ever. It's basically like if you took nachos, but instead of the nachos, you had tater tots.
Oh,
Ooh.
And so,
Huh.
yeah, tater tots, the fucking beef on there with, the cheese, melted cheese and string cheese on there.
It's like
Or,
chili cheese.
well, shredded cheese, I mean, yeah. Yeah, it's awesome.
Are you ever in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, quite a bit.
So I have a friend that moved there, and he tells me that they put French fries in their salads.
no way.
I've never seen that.
He
I've
said
been
it's
through, I should amend this. I've been through Pennsylvania. I guess I have not been that deep into Pennsylvania.
specifically he lives in Pittsburgh, so maybe it's exclusive to Pittsburgh. I'm not sure, but he said
Maybe.
that's what they do. I thought it
Have
was
you
pretty
guys
weird.
heard of? It's called a garbage plate. It's like this hodgepodge of fries and gravy, chili, and crap. Have you heard of it?
It sounds something
Garbage plate.
Where do you get that at?
I would mind here.
It's like from Philadelphia or somewhere out east.
It would be.
It's like some big. It's big in one city. I saw it. My father was watching sports, and they were showcasing some restaurant in the area. It looked awful.
Oh, Chris.
Well,
do
the
you
one
wanna-
thing I can tell you about Philly is they have garbage everything, so it doesn't surprise me that would be where that was from.
Chris, if you ever want to die, you should come by here, and I'll take you to Chico's Pizza.
I'd like to die.
Yeah, your risk of heart disease goes up by 10% just by walking in the building. So.
Oh wow.
Pretty
Like, are we talking about like really thick crust or multiple layers of cheese, or
So they
what
have
makes
a Hawks,
this pizza so dangerous?
They're particularly known for their Hochstetter special, which is basically there's not much in the way of crust. It's just basic bread, but then they'll load it up with like 3 or 4 inches of just bacon and pepperoni and just every topping imaginable, except for
Nice.
pineapple, mind you. But
Lord, no.
and it's so greasy. Oh my gosh.
So am I the only one on here that likes pineapple on pizza?
I actually do.
I love
I
it.
just
okay.
Dude,
Y'all
there's
are
a
going
place
to hell.
around the corner. Hey, is that because we're not Mormon, or is it because we're not pineapple?
Just the pineapple.
Okay, good.
You can be saved for the other reasons.
I'm gonna buy me some pineapple underwear.
There's a
Jesus.
pizza around the corner called Stoner Pie at this place called Gumby's. It's got mozzarella sticks, pepperoni, French fries, bacon, and extra mozzarella.
Oh, good.
Jesus.
Good that they
Yeah,
added that extra mozzarella.
Yeah, I was worried, you know.
A little bit more.
I was like, wait, just mozzarella? Oh, good, extra mozzarella.
Yeah.
Well, there's the sticks, and then they put the cheese on top of the whole pizza.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and make sure you put a little bit of one of those packets of Parmesan on top too.
Yeah, I usually put sriracha on it.
The best way that extremist ISIS could, like, kill us is just by starting fast food.
And poisoning everybody.
Well, they could just, like, load it up with everything that we love, and then we'll get more and more obesity, and then we'll all just die.
Oh, so the long game, yeah. That could work.
Or they could just not do anything, and that happens anyway.
Capitalism!
Yeah.
Great. So there's this taco joint around here. There's lots of taco joints here, but there's you've got your like just regular Tex-Mex restaurants, and then you've got your little hole in the wall taquerias, which is where the good shit is. And then there's this place called Fuego, which is like it's basically like this big grill, and they just put whatever the fuck in a tortilla. So there's this one called the Dr. Pepper Cowboy, which has got barbecue, cream corn, onions, and Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce, all in a tortilla. It's freaking good.
Whoa.
There's another thing called the Southern Comfort. It's fried chicken, potatoes, gravy, cream corn, all in a tortilla.
And you've had this,
Yes, it's so good.
and you're still alive to tell us about it.
Yeah, man.
Is
I'll have to go
this
there and
place run
take a
by
picture of this.
Mexicans?
What's that?
Is this place run by real Mexicans? Is this like authentic?
No. This is more of like an extreme taco joint. Like they,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I mean, it's really good quality. Like you can just get regular breakfast tacos and just like al pastor and carne asada and just stuff like that, and it's great. But then they have their specialty tacos, which are loaded with all kinds of stuff. Like they got fried avocados, they've got rotisserie chicken, they've got steak. You know, just everything you can think of. They got fried shrimp tacos. They got grilled shrimp tacos.
Wow.
Nice. I love fried shrimp tacos.
Dude, yes. And they put a little bit of tartar sauce on it, and then some this Mexican slaw, which is kind of spicy.
Ooh.
Y'all ever drink horchata?
Yeah.
That stuff's so good.
So what
I
is
had a-
that? I've heard of it, but I have no idea what it is.
It's cinnamon rice milk.
Hmm.
So it's real creamy.
Better than it sounds.
Yeah. You had me until you explained what it was. If I could just like go back and unlearn what I have learned.
Cinnamon rice milk. Well, you know, there's no rice in it. It's not like rice pudding.
So it's just the leftovers after you eat your cereal, and then you just put some cinnamon in there.
Actually, that's pretty good. It's like a bowl of cinnamon toast crunch after the cinnamon toast crunch is gone.
All right.
And it's
But
really
in a
good in
good
one of
way.
those bowls with handles. I had
Your
rum
mom's
chata
a bowl
too.
with a handle.
Hey,
If we ever get sponsorship, that's who we got to go to first, is whoever makes those freaking bowls.
No, there's not enough companies that are making bowls with handles that are good quality. We need to capitalize on it.
that's
There's
true.
a
Yeah.
hole in the market.
Porcelain.
Make like a stainless steel one.
Your mom's delicate china bowl with handle.
Start putting
That
handles on
kind
everything.
So I feel like since Blake's not here and he's just completely abandoned us, we should talk smack about him while he's gone, or maybe we could say something we like about him and then something that's just absolutely terrible about him.
Well, do you want
For
to
example, yeah. So I admire Blake because he's had 1,000 babies and he's been a responsible dad to them all. What I don't like about Blake is that he likes the Transformer movies. That's pretty sad. I mean, he legitimately likes them.
I hate those movies. I can't stand them.
It's not like he
I like the
watches them
first
because
one.
they're. It's not like he watches them because they're bad movies. I mean, he actually enjoys them.
Oh wow. Well, we can't all be.
What I really like about Blake is like he's a unifier when he's around, and he has a way of just like with one post he can really bring the group together and everything. And I guess for something that like kind of gets in my craw about him, he looks like a guy that would be missing a finger. I just can't shake it. I'm sorry. Every time I see him, yeah.
What the hell?
Looks like it would be missing. Looks like the pointer thumb or a pink.
I don't think it matters, but yeah. Well, actually, he'd be missing, like, the ideal Blake would be missing 3 or 4 fingers. He might just have, like, the kind of thumb-pinky combo, but he can still do everything a normal person can do, but that's just what he has to work with.
Oh my god, that's so good.
That's good, man. That was golden. That's gonna go on the previously on.
Yeah.
So, you're right though. Every time he gets zucked, it seems like we all bond over it,
Mhm.
rally together.
And then he has a grand return. That's why he's the Jesus figure.
Yeah,
You know, he always comes back.
I
He
wish
is our
he would come
Messiah.
back.
He is the Postian Christ.
So that's one thing we probably ought to talk about. We got a snitch in our group, and we've had one for quite some time.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Judas
beginning
is
to
among
think
us.
that Facebook auto snitches. You
Right.
ever thought of that? Like, there's some kind of algorithm that finds offensive stuff and just reports it anyway.
Right, but what about that Urban Dictionary definition? Do you see that?
The one that got Ramin.
Yeah, ramen.
Raw.
Ramen salami.
Well, do any of us know how to actually pronounce that, like the way he says it, or
Doesn't matter.
okay?
He's
Ramen
Persian or half Persian, so Ramin, I don't know.
That's what I think it is. Ramin Saleh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to say it with like.
I was thinking it was like Salahi.
You have to be able to say it with like Bollywood music in the background.
Ramin Saleh.
Ding 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 ding.
Bobs.
You would like to send me vagina and bobs?
I've actually seen some Bollywood movies that I do like. My sister used to teach yoga, and so she's got like quite a collection of Bollywood movies, and one of them is this one called Ahsoka, which is like this. I guess he was like a prince of India back in thousands of years ago or whatever, and like. So like he was a good prince, then like his girl leaves him or something, or some shit like that, and then he turns into a bad prince, and then he meets up with her again. He goes back to being a good prince at the end after he's killed, like, hundreds of thousands of people.
So I didn't even know what Bollywood was back. I was probably like 20 or 21. And I had this girl that I liked, and she was kind of a homeschooly girl too. And so she talked me into, because I was such a sucker, watching this one called Bride and Prejudice, which is essentially the same story as Pride and Prejudice, but a Bollywood version. And so I was sitting in my dark room at night watching this on my own personal TV. And I didn't really want anyone to know about it. I was trying to keep it on the down low. And for whatever reason, my entire family showed up at my bedroom door. Like, my mom and dad were there, and then my sisters, and they were like, "Hey, what are you doing? We were talking about blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Ah!" It's so embarrassing. They're like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "Nothing!"
It was porn, I swear.
I wish it was porn.
Like, it would have been better if you were just laying pipe and they walked in.
Okay, so that's a good topic. What's the stupidest thing, or like the farthest you've ever gone to please a girl?
What?
When a girl's like, "I want you to do this for me," and you're like, "Okay, I'm a sucker."
Oh, okay.
I'll do
I thought you
anything
meant
for
like sexually please her. I'm like,
Maybe it's the same thing. I don't know.
are you guys the virgin like me? I thought that's what you were about to ask.
Yeah,
Like,
because
what?
my wife was a never nude as well.
No kidding. Let's see. The farthest. I mean, I used to drive from San Antonio up to Oklahoma City to see this girl that I was with. I did that like a few times.
I have no geographical map in my head of Texas, so you're gonna have to tell me how long that is.
That's about an 8-hour drive,
Holy shit!
maybe 7 hours.
How often did you make this trip?
About 4 or 5 times. I
Holy
was
crap,
a fucking
dude.
idiot, dude. I was like, oh, I'm in love with this girl, and she was going to OU, so it was a little bit before.
Oh, she owed you a lot, dude.
What's that?
I said she owed you a lot.
Dad jokes.
She still does too. But no,
And that
man,
was Kyle, right? Kyle too?
No, Kyle lived in New Braunfels, which is basically like just 20 minutes down 35 from San Marcos. So it's like just the next town over.
Too bad. I wanted to believe that you drove 8 hours for Kyle.
Hell no. I don't even drive 30 minutes to Kyle as it is. She's got a boyfriend now.
Yeah, but she's a 10-10. I would smash.
Okay.
I've been adding that to every single poll that's open.
There's
So
many
that's my
stories
favorite.
I would tell, but not on a podcast.
No. Okay, Wesley, did you ever do anything for your women's folk?
Let's see.
Putting on the magic or the what? What's it?
The garment.
The magic underwear. Is that why you became a... I want to hear that you became a Mormon because of a girl that you liked.
No, I'm born and raised going back generations LDS. My high school girlfriend was a vegan, and there was like a 4-month period where I tried being vegan, and my mother, mind you, owns a cattle ranch, and I love beef. And these 4 months was just hell for me. It was just awful. And she
Wow,
was like,
you were-
no, you should try and do it for your health. And hell no. Nope.
You were like rejecting your family for this girl, basically.
For a while. No, not anymore.
That's like Sergio level of dedication. Sergio's on a vegan diet. But nobody cares. Nobody cares about him.
Sergio from the group, or the guy that sells cheap guitars and late night TV?
Sergio from the group. That's the only thing I know about him, is that he's an Uber driver and he's a vegan diet person.
And nobody likes him.
Yeah, nobody likes him. Tanya hates him.
Did I tell you guys I tried a Lyft share for the first time a few days ago?
You like it?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it went pretty well. The guy was super kind and explained the app to me. So I tried Uber, but there were none available, so I used Lyft.
I think Lyft is better.
Yeah.
I've gotten cheaper rides and faster response times.
A buddy of mine, he's in the Navy, and he lives in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. And when he's not doing Navy stuff, he's an Uber and a Lyft driver. And yeah, he's told me that like he prefers Lyft, and that like everybody pretty much does too.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
My brothers start driving for Favor.
Oh yeah.
What even is that?
Delivery service.
Oh,
Like
Food?
they'll go to restaurants and get whatever you want from there and bring it to you. It's pretty good. I mean, when you live in a small college town like I do, it's pretty convenient because there's just a bunch of college kids begging for cash, so there's always gonna be runners.
we had one in my hometown, but it's like $2 a mile,
Jesus.
so it's not even worth it.
Yeah.
You guys done public transit?
Not regularly. I've been on it, but pretty much had to drive it my whole life.
He used to ride the school bus.
That's, you might see the same kind of shit on the school bus as you would at public transit.
Yeah.
My brother lived in Renton for a long time. When he was working at Sucker Punch, he would commute from there to Bellevue, and he saw some stuff. There was one lady, I don't remember all the details of the story, so it's not going to be that exciting, but there was one lady that like had a creepy doll with her, and she was like, her hair was all like matted on one side, and she was talking to this doll. Just weird stuff.
Damn. I need to make a trip up there, dude. I've always wanted to check out that area.
Like Seattle and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Have you
Brody,
lived there your
you
whole
should
life?
have
What's that?
you should have come up to southern Utah when you were in Vegas. If you enjoyed that, was it Red Rock Park? What was it that you visited?
Red Rock Canyon.
Red
Yeah,
Rock
it was
Canyon.
amazing, dude. It was so pretty. Like, gosh,
Were you high or sober?
completely high. We had stopped at this we okay. So the Stratosphere was like walking distance to 2 dispensaries. First night we were there, we bought 3 pre-rolls. Second night, or just the next morning, we went and bought a couple more pre-rolls, and then a few of this applicator gel. It was like a tube of edible wax. So we were putting that on all of our freaking hot dogs and putting it in our beer, and we were just going nuts. So yeah, we toured the Red Rock Canyon ablaze. And it was
I want to
great.
know how much does that affect like Google reviews and Travelocity and stuff? Where they're just like, it was the shit, man.
Probably. I mean, if you're high and you enjoyed it, fuck it.
5 stars,
5 stars. Yeah. What else do you want?
6 stars.
The rock was so red, man. Like you just don't even get it.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was the change of climate and terrain. The change in the air I was breathing. I just felt like I got a lot of much needed fresh air out in the desert. If that sounds weird, but because down here it's been raining a lot, been humid and just nasty.
I thought that's all you had in it in Texas was air.
I mean, we got air, but I'm talking like there's sometimes where the humidity is real bad. It's worse over in Houston, but
Yeah.
I'm talking to y'all like you know where everything is where I am. Sorry.
I do.
The closest I've ever been is I flew to Arizona once in this, like July or August, I think it was, for a youth trip. It was hot, man.
I loved Arizona.
It was crazy hot.
I like Flagstaff, Arizona. That city is dope, dude.
I've been to Tucson and Phoenix. I've never been to Flagstaff.
It's really not far away from Phoenix, maybe like 2 hours, but it's like night and day difference. Like Phoenix, it can be like 110, 115 there. And then like up in Flagstaff, it's like 70 or 80. And then there's like just always a breeze blowing through there. Like it's got that huge mountain and shit. And like it's like a forest there with like pine trees everywhere. Like it just doesn't even seem like it should exist.
elevation? Is that the reason the climate change between the two areas?
It must be because like it doesn't like it. It's pretty much only like that around that little kind of patch of mountains there. Because then like once you go south, like it turns into desert pretty quick.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Meteor Crater is only about like 40 minutes from there to the east, and like it's like this mile wide, huge meteor hole in the ground. It's pretty neat.
I definitely love traveling. I need to do more of it now that I can kind of afford to do it on my own. I need to come check out Seattle. Need to go check out San Francisco, fucking Boston, New York. I've never really been up north. Like I've only been to the southern states.
The north is great, dude.
Yeah.
If you ever go to Seattle, you can get I don't remember this exact name of it. It's basically a Seattle pass, and it like lets you into all these hot spots.
Really?
It's a more affordable way to go.
Oh, okay. Well, if I go, I'll look up at something like that.
Yeah, my wife and I went. In one day we went up the Space Needle, we went to the Experience Music Project, the Science Center, and then a few smaller places.
How far away from Seattle do you live?
3 hours.
Damn. Seems far.
It's not bad. It like we would always like go to Mariners games and stuff, so we'd make a day out of it.
So is it just a straight shot on the highway, or is it kind of a lot of traffic running in there? Or?
Yeah, as Chris knows, you've got to cross the mountain pass.
You got to go over the Cascades.
It's a big uphill drive for a while, but then it's pretty much a straight shot, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm gonna get like fucked tomorrow. It's like like the pass that you go through. The highest part is called Snoqualmie, and yeah, it's gonna be snowing there tonight and tomorrow morning when I drive through there, and they're probably gonna get like a foot or something.
The winter is always unpredictable. We've had terrible winters and then mild winters. The worst I've ever been is normally it takes 3 hours to get from here to there, but one time we were on the pass for 3 hours because they were like trying to shovel everything off, and there was a huge traffic jam. It was so bad. We were just crawling. Some spots we were stalled long enough that people got out of their cars and built snowmans on the side of the road. So. Do you guys get snow in Texas?
It's we got snow a few weeks ago, like before Christmas. And that was the first time it had snowed like that in this area for like 20, 30 years.
I remember seen posts about somebody saying, first time I've ever seen snow in like whatever, but I couldn't remember what it was.
And it's not the first time that I've seen snow in this area, because the other time was about 3-4 years ago. But it wasn't even that much. It was more of just like a layer of ice.
Yeah, that's lame.
But this snow that we had about a month ago, it was beautiful. It was soft and flaky, and we got quite a bit of it in some areas. My parents were able to build snowmen out at the house. They live out in the country.
My best snowfall memory is we had so much that we've got these kind of tin metal roofs on our house where I live, and we were kind of concerned about the buildup of the snow, so we were shoveling it off so it wouldn't collapse the roof or anything. And we shoveled so much snow off that there was just piles of it on the sides of our house. So we ended up like taking the sled up onto the roof. We were sliding off the roof down onto this pile of snow and then down into the yard. It was a lot of fun. It's pretty wild. And I think that the highest point, the peak of our house is probably, I want to say about 12 feet. And I was younger back then. I was probably 13 or 14 or so, and I ended up jumping off of that down into just the regular, not even a pile of snow, but just the regular level of snow. That's how deep it was. I can't remember. I don't know where you live, Chris.
I live in northern Michigan.
Oh, so you probably
I live in a
snow,
town
right?
called Gaylord.
It makes so much sense now.
Yeah. The worst part is I moved there. Like, I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina, and I chose to move to Gaylord, Michigan.
Why?
Over South Carolina? Dang.
Yeah. Well, remember that question earlier? Like, what is the, like, you know, craziest thing you've done for a girl? Yeah, that was it. But it's pretty dope up there. Like, back to another, like, kind of crazy fun job that I had. When I first moved up there, the first job that I got was a zip line instructor at the ski hill that's about, like, an hour away from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were a rink man and a zipline guy.
Yeah, and worked at an auto parts store. I've worked in, like, several bike shops, you know, as a bike mechanic and salesman and whatever.
I was a
I've
pool
done some
boy.
pretty cool jobs.
Oh, shit.
A what?
Please tell me you got some, like, awesome stories.
Yeah, I saw some titties.
Nice.
Oh, you're like a lifeguard or something?
No, I was going to residential pools and cleaning them.
Oh, dang.
Like rich
Yeah,
people's
but-
house.
Yeah.
That's like
Freaking
right out of the
husbands
movies.
at work, and you're, like, you know, banging the wife and shit. And
Sometimes I feel like they knew I was gonna be there at that time, and they're just like the wife's home alone out there sunbathing topless.
That's like Stacy's mom level stuff.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and they'll just like once the first time I did it, I think it actually was an accident. But the second time it was a different lady, and it happened twice.
Nah, that's
Yeah,
That's not an accident.
Her husband was a pretty big dude though, so I was like, I'm not gonna die for this pussy, you know.
he's like Adam Sandler in Airheads.
What did fucking Wiz post? I ain't doing nothing for the pussy. And I love. We all started making our own fucking raps.
I wish he liked us.
Yeah, we're
He's
probably
so-
hard to like.
Probably. He probably left because we didn't have any black women in the group.
That's what we're
That's
missing.
That's what he was complaining about. Although if you go through our members, I think I've found like 2 or 3 since.
There's a lot of people that are in our group that are not in our group.
Yeah. They're super random. Some of them are probably bots.
I wish there was a way we could just kind of start weeding out some of that, but it does look cool to have 560.
Yeah, I kind of like it. And it's fun to mess with them every once in a while and just tag them in random shit and be like, we're like, what's next? Oh, I forgot I'm in this group.
Find the most random cunt on that list.
And I like to believe that every once in a while we have one of those days like Gay Porn Thursday where their feed just gets flooded.
Yeah.
Well, the Is Brian Gay Day, like, was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Like, dude, your meme that you made of the Lion King after that day was the best I've ever seen. Like, don't go to that dark place, Simba. Like, never go there. That was like Thursday, the whatever it was. Like, holy shit, I was dying.
Who was that?
It was right after that day of, like, where Lozano just went off the deep end and was posting all the gay shit. And then, like, it became, like, a thing. So everybody was posting all the memes of, like, the gay porn, but scribbled over with, like, you know, crayon or whatever to make it look safe for work and all this kind of stuff. And, yeah, Brian posted this meme that was done after, of the, you know, Lion King of Mufasa talking to Simba about, like, you know, where their kingdom is and everything. And Mufasa's like, everything that you see is CLC. And then Simba's like, what's that dark place? And he's like, that's Thursday the 14th. Never go there.
Yeah, we should just delete that whole day from the group history.
No, that's part of our lore now.
Yeah, that'd be like
Deleting
deleting
my
Custer's
memory.
Last Stand or something.
That's Wesley's favorite day.
Oh, definitely.
Oh,
He's
I don't know.
claiming.
Every
Good
once in a
Lord.
while, I think it's amazing that Wesley is still with us.
Uh-huh.
It's good to see and talk to people with different ideas and lifestyles. I live in such a cultural bubble that I think it's good for me.
My favorite thing is when Wesley talked about his fiance seeing stuff from the group. I can't remember what you said, but it made me laugh.
Well, I saw
Just
the
let you
topic
know.
was
What I've cleaned so much
breastfeeding.
of my room this whole time. That's like all I've been doing.
Good for you.
I know. I'm so proud of myself, guys. Y'all bring the best out of me. Truly.
Oh, I think Wesley brings the best out of all of us. He's definitely the heart of the group. Except for that one day where I like convinced Tony to make him an admin, and then all of a sudden he did that heel turn immediately.
Made me feel like shit.
That was his plan.
How you're not an admin
He
yet.
told me he would make
For
me
some
an admin so I could block her, and it was my favorite day ever.
She was so pissed off that she was messaging me like, "I'm so mad that Wesley got promoted," and she doesn't understand that things are jokes right away.
That made me so happy.
I felt really bad for her though, because like to me it seemed like I was the one that started all that by like nominating Wesley.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's why we need Tony to come back, because nobody else is going to do that kind of stuff.
Well, he kind of takes it off the deep end sometimes too, and it kind of goes the other way. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's like they're like, I don't know, like well, that's what's great about the group, and it is the most no context part of it is that like no matter what happens, there's going to be this kind of shit that goes down. No matter what you try to do to organize everything, and like it's just amazing.
The best thing ever was the fake coup
Oh, yeah.
where we all pretended to argue over Star Wars or something.
Yeah.
Dude, we actually
thing
lost
that-
a couple group members because of that. Like
Well,
Travis
that's when-
Pernock and his girlfriend left.
That was like before we knew how to admin too, and so we were
still
like
don't know
blocking
how.
all these. We blocked all these people, and then when you unblock
Yeah.
them, they just disappear. You're like, wait, who was it? I can't find them. You try to add them back.
And it was like secret at that point now too, and so like you couldn't like just add them if they weren't on your friends list.
Yeah, we just fucked ourselves that day.
And they couldn't type it in to find it. The nice thing is, the cool thing about our group is that every once in a while, Tony will just do some shit and just stir everything up like the big black spoon that he is. But it kind of evolves on its own. Like even if you don't tinker with it or mess with it or try to cause drama, stuff just happens.
Yeah. Well, I think people have kind of caught on to what, that they're trying to make stuff happen too now. So it doesn't have to be one or two people doing
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
My,
this whole past week when I was on the trip, like I barely even looked at the group. I missed a lot of the stuff y'all were doing.
So that big shoe that you saw, did you get in it?
No, there was too many people walking by. I tried.
Oh man, I don't know if I would have been able to stop myself.
There was a sign that says, "Please do not enter the shoe."
Oh man.
That was at the Cosmopolitan Hotel. I cannot believe the scale of that freaking Las Vegas, man. It is unreal.
Yeah.
Like the pictures.
My truck broke down there last year, and so like I spent like a week just like walking around there every day, and I didn't have any money, so all I could do is literally just walk around and go to places.
Yeah, dude.
Probably
I
did it
just-
to himself.
I can't wait to go back.
He sabotaged his own truck. You didn't take any of the crazy rides, did you?
No, I couldn't. I had like literally no money. Like I had just enough money to like kind of make sure I had I basically stayed at the Circus for like $40 a night for 5 nights.
Dude, yeah,
Us?
I've heard the Circus is like the worst place.
Oh, it's like a super cheap like place, and yeah, like it's like the acceptable level of disgusting, to where like it's not like bad enough that you'd like rather just sleep outside with the rest of the homeless people, but like it's definitely not like a place where you'd
Hey.
It's probably a giant motel, huh?
yeah
What do you got against homeless people? Homeless people aren't that bad. So
They are in Vegas.
I believe it.
Like, holy shit. Like, you don't want to make eye contact with a homeless person in Vegas. I can guarantee you that.
Ryan, I had a question. I was able to get Discord on my laptop. Would you prefer I switch to that off from my phone or no?
We could try it later on. I don't really
Yeah.
care personally.
Okay.
The only concern I would be having is that is if it would interfere with your recording.
Okay, I see. All right. It was taking so long to download, but I have it next time. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe you and I'll just try it someday or something on our own time or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Or get a podcast with Queen Michael and I. That would be
Oh
interesting.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to have everybody on, rotating
Yeah.
on here.
Do you just fire off your savage insults, or do you actually spend time thinking about them?
I try and keep a few ready, but just but sometimes in my free time I try and think of stuff.
He's just got a notebook that he carries with him. Through town. He's just like, ooh, I got one.
Guys, I thought of an insult. But hey, fellas, I'm gonna get off of this phone call and go down and get some dinner
All right, man.
myself. But it was good talking to you, bros.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah, we'll do this again very soon.
Cool.
The next time
All right,
I'll
bro.
have that. All right, guys, see y'all.
See ya.
See ya.
Okay. So you guys want to call it for the night?
Yeah, let's go ahead so I can get to sleep here.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the CLC podcast.
Christ. I'm still here. I haven't
Each
figured
and
out how to
every
get out of here.
Bye.
I had to stop you.
That was the most CLC thing that could have happened.
What? Him saying it or me interrupting it?
Interrupting, yes.
All right, fellas. Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.